Shri Ganesha Sharada Gurubhyo Namaha Ramaya Ramabhadraya Ramachandraya Vedase Raghunathaya Nathaya Sitaya Pataye Namaha. Welcome to all for this session on Ramayana to chapter 10 of Kishkindha Kanda. In the previous chapter, Sugriva went on to narrate the root cause of the enmity between Vali and Sugriva, the two brothers. He narrated the story of a titan named Mayavi who came and challenged Vali for a fight. But on seeing Wally, he ran and hid himself into a cave, and Wally went inside the cave, and almost an year lapsed. There onwards, with the assumption that Wally must have been dead, Sugriva closed the entrance to the cave and returned to the kingdom where he was put into the throne as a king. A little later, when Wali returned after killing the Titan, he got enraged seeing Sugriva sitting on his throne, and he started quarreling with him. In my desire to make peace, I tried to placate my brother, who returning was incensed against me. I said, by the grace of the gods, you are victorious, and your enemy has fallen under your blows. Without you, I should be bereft of support. You are my only defender, O my protector, my delight. Now accept this royal canopy of my own many supports, resembling the full moon about to rise. Take also these chamaras from my hands. In fact, first mistake was closing the entrance to the cavern. Probably Sugriva must have done it with a fear that the demons or the titans inside that cave might come out and trouble Kishkindha further. So he closed the cave, and that led Wali not to and unable to come out of the cave easily, and that had enraged him. And when he returned to the city, he saw Sugriva sitting on the throne. That became a second mistake for him. O king, for a whole year I waited sadly beside the cave, and seeing blood flowing to the entrance and stopping there, my heart was filled with anguish and my mind deeply troubled. I then closed the opening of the cavern with a great rock and left that place to return to Kishkindha in deep distress. Seeing me, the people of that city and the ministers also placed me on the throne without my desiring it. Therefore, pardon me, you who are our sovereign. This is how Sugriva spoke to Vali. I was invested with royal dignity in your absence, and thus preserved the city, its ministers, and inhabitants from anarchy. This kingdom has been as a trust to me. I now render it back to you. O friend, do not be wrath against me. O destroyer of your enemies, placing my head at your feet. O king, with joined palms I appeal to you. It was on the insistence of the ministers and the united populace that I was placed on the throne, they reflecting that the country would be seized by an enemy in the absence of a monarch. In fact, the same fear was there even for Bharata also, but he did not do so. He did not sat on the throne. Instead, he went into the forest searching for his brother, and finally, when Rama refused, accepted his sandals as his representative and placing them on the throne, he continued to rule Ayodhya as his representative. To this humble speech, Wali answered with invective, saying, Cursed be you, and repeated the imprecation. Then, gathering his subjects and ministers together, he inveighed against me in the midst of my friends, reproaching me with bitter words, saying, Know well that in anger the great titan Mayavi one night challenged me to a long desired combat. Hearing his voice, I left my royal dwelling and was followed immediately by my unscrupulous brother who is present there. The night, seeing me followed by another, that great titan fled terrified, and both of us pursued him closely. In his haste to escape, he entered a great cave and seeing that vast and fearful cavern, I said to my false hearted brother, I cannot return to the city till I have slain my rival. Do yourself wait at the mouth of the pit till I have struck him down. In the belief that he would remain there, I penetrated into that inaccessible cave. While I was pursuing my enemy, whose audacity rendered him truly formidable, a whole year lapsed, but at last I discovered him and slew him with his entire family. That Titan, while being slain, roared aloud, and the stream of blood that spread all round filled the cave, making it difficult to pass. Having happily slain my cruel adversary, I could not find the opening of the cave, the entrance having been closed. I called Sugriva again and again, but there was no response, and my situation was serious. By dint of kicking, I was able to roll back the rock and emerged, after which I returned to the city. That is why I am incensed against the wicked Sugriva, whose desire for the throne overcame his brotherly affection. With these words, the Vanara Vali, bereft of all sense of shame, chased me from the kingdom with but a single garment, having ill treated me and carried off my consort. O Rama, wretched and deprived of my companions, I took refuge in on this lofty mountain Rishamoka, to which, for a particular reason, Vali has no access. This is the whole story of the origin of our intense hostility. I have not merited the great humiliation that was visited me, as you now see, O Raghava. O you who are the dispeller of fear, you yourself take this dread of my brother from and punish him in my name. The virtuous prince, having heard the faithful Sugriva's narrative, smiling, answered him, saying, these arrows of mine, bright as the sun, never fail to reach their target, and with their sharp points will strike down that evil Wali with force, as long as I do not behold this ravisher of your consort. This wretch of perverse practices will live not an instant longer. Observe here when Rama replied back to Sugriva, he is mentioning Rama is not giving importance to Sugriva being thrown out of the kingdom or being bereft of his kingdom. He is particularly mentioning, I do not behold this ravisher of your consort. That is what is the primary mistake of Wali. Wali naturally at that time, if you look from his angle, what he had done to Sugriva is right, because Sugriva must have waited there for a long, or he has the whole army of the apes behind him, whole army of the Vanaras behind him, and with that he would have guarded the entrance to the cave to see to it that the Titans don't come out of that cave. If the Titan was fearing with two Vanaras approaching, with several hundred thousand Vanaras guarding the entrance to the cave. He would have taken care of to see to it that the Titans won't come out, or he would have even ventured inside the cave with many other people, many other great people in his army, and tried in vain to search for Wali. But instead of that, closing that cave and returning to the kingdom without telling anybody, and later, when people insisted accepting the throne, become a cowardly act. And for that cowardly act, Wali gave a suitable punishment to Sugriva, throwing him out of the kingdom. But snatching away his consort becomes something that is against the dharma. While Sugriva is alive, snatching away his consort, who is equivalent because she is the daughter in law of the family, so she will be like a daughter to Wali himself as long as Sugriva is alive. So, trying to snatch her away is the primary mistake of Vali, and Rama has decided to punish him for that particular mistake of him. I see you to be plunged in an ocean of grief, as am I, and I shall aid you to traverse it. You shall certainly regain your erstwhile property. Having hearing these words that increased his joy and courage, Sugriva, in extreme delight, uttered the following memorable words. Thus ended chapter 10 of Kishkindha Kanda in Ramayana. Namaste Sharada Devi, Kashmira Puravasini, Twamaham Prarthaye Nityam, Vidya Danancha Dehime. Bye.